Hi, and welcome to the social space. You'll have more money if you stop paying bills. Just think about that. Mayor Crossland over there. I mean, that's true for a little while, you will. To my left, there's Jackie Hager. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Eric.
I had something all ready for Teresa Caves, who I thought
know,
was
I got a
had
little
something witty.
switcheroo, but Teresa will be sitting in this chair next week.
Okay, awesome. Is she your permanent co-host?
I think so. I think
she does good, and
yes.
Boy, does she love the clothes that she can't find anymore that your old shop used to provide.
That's so true.
Doesn't she? Andrew Bell, have you heard her talking about it?
You too.
She says she can't find it anywhere else, so she hand washes all this stuff. What was the name of your store?
Vive Paris.
Oh, sacre bleu. And then over there on the piano, Anthony Haley. We love him. We're trying to talk Katie and sing along with them today. To my right, Dr. Sandra Vergara.
Yeah.
Hi, Eddie. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Real quick, I have to thank all of our sponsors, and then we'll get right into it. That's going to be News Channel 6. We air there 10:35 Sunday nights. Still number one, I'm assuming. We also, the audio version can be heard on News Talk 1290 at 10 a.m. on Saturdays. That's part of Town Square Media. There are other partners, and then Impact Signs at Falls Truck Center. I still see those. I still see us on the back of a few buses.
Yeah.
So thanks to those guys over there.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Sandra Vergara, tell us a little bit about yourself. A little bit about your background and a little bit about your practice, please.
Well, thank you. Originally from Colombia in South America, actually Cali, moved to the States about over 20 years ago, 22 years ago. And was for security issues, and really I am a refugee in this country.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I came with political asylum, and then I came and I couldn't work. So I was already an oral surgeon, and I had to go again through my residency.
Oh, wow.
I went to Nashville, Tennessee, and did my residency again at Vanderbilt University. And then I moved to Wichita Falls. I raised my 2 kids here. This has been home. I love this place. I've been here for the past 16 years. And I love this community.
That's awesome. That's wild. Imagine having to go to school again for your
4 years of residency. After another 4 years before in my own country.
They must have loved to have you. Like, oh, she's great. So we can just let her.
I must have loved it too, to go again, to do all that. So I love what I do. Definitely nice. I do.
Awesome. Dr. Vergara, tell us about your new location, and you have an open house coming up. So.
Yes, we moved during the pandemic.
Okay.
We haven't had the chance to actually do our open house. So we are thrilled about it.
Yes.
I love the new location. It's a very happy place. We had now 3 surgical rooms. We have all new technology. Everything is really, I will say, amazing. I should not say that probably, but I think it's a great place. And yes, we are going to be having our open house next May the 3rd.
Okay.
That is a Tuesday from 5:30 to 7:30, and I hope to see everyone in there.
Yes,
well, we'll
awesome.
get it on our calendar for sure. I think the main reason, though, we've asked you to be on the show is to discuss the opioid crisis that's going on in the United States. You separate yourselves from a lot of oral surgeons in the area. Tell us why the opioid subject is so dear and passionate to your heart.
Well, I'm gonna give a little bit of a story. About 5 years ago, I went to a meeting. That was the big boom of the pandemic back then. And I got a lecture where it was specifically for surgeons and what is the role that we have been playing in all this pandemic. So it really called my attention how important was to create awareness I came back home and I started searching everything, and I started looking for Wichita County. Wichita County at the time, in July that I did my first event about opioids, there were 69 people dead for overdose, and it was July. So immediately I said we need to do something.
Yes.
So I start trying to see how could I make my practice opioid free. That is very difficult, and there are very few surgical opioid free practices. So I searched and I found out how these people was doing it, and I brought it to Wichita.
That's
I'm
awesome.
the only opioid-free practice here.
Ooh, let's say that again. You're the only opioid-free
Practice.
Oral
practice.
surgeon.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I can say that genuinely because I was a patient of yours and we did it opioid-free.
What do? You just bite down on a rag? Or what do you...
No. She is masterful at it. It was a great experience. I
Like,
didn't
for
need it.
example, tell me about your experience. Tell me.
It was great. The pain was not that bad, and I certainly went home relatively pain-free, but I loved it because you coach the patient through it. This is what I do, this is why I do it, and this is how it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it was. So I don't know do you really need that prescription?
Well,
of
people
opioids.
don't, you've heard about people like Prince when he overdosed.
Yes.
He was a person who never drank, never did any drugs. He was very clean living, and he hurt himself, got on opioids while he had pain, and he ended up overdosing, a few months down the road.
You had mentioned when we were visiting right before the show began that sometimes it just takes one dose. It's not that you already drink or you already do everything else. That one dose can lead you down a deep, dark pathway of opioid abuse.
Or sometimes the mixture of a lot of substances that actually make a difference.
How has the public navigated your response to being an opioid-free office? What's been...
That is a great question,
Yeah.
because at the beginning was very difficult.
I bet it was.
People is always scared that they are going to be in pain. It requires a lot of, like you said, a lot of coaching, a lot of talking.
Yes.
And to take the time to explain the patients, this is what I'm going to use on you. I use a special type of local anesthetic that is extended release and that keep the patients comfortable. So people anyways I don't want to be in pain. So some patients, we don't come to the surgery at all because
They just wouldn't come?
sometimes patients say, no, I'd rather go where I can get my pain medication. So, but most of the people, and now that people know, because this is going to be 5 years in May, people know that they are not going to be in pain.
Yeah.
Also, pain medication seekers don't come to my practice anymore.
Yeah,
which
okay, they know,
No
they
kidding.
are,
Yeah, found out.
So they know, and people get educated, and you have to take your time. Everybody receive a special paper with all the explanation about the product that I am injecting.
Well, two thoughts I'm thinking. Number one, as a mom, I don't know if we want opioids given to our children, even our older children, teenage years, early adulthood, because you don't know what that can spin off to. Number two, I do know, pain has to be so real and heavy for a lot of people.
That's true.
So we want to be respectful of those people that do suffer daily from severe pain. How they navigate that, I don't know how, but I sympathize for those people as well. But I think it's important to have a choice that you can be opioid free in your oral surgery and never have to experience what the ramifications are of taking an opioid.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, that is correct, and I'm not against opioids. Opioids have their right indications.
Got it.
And they are great for that purpose. But you cannot give opioids for everything.
Right.
So we got into a time where we were told that it didn't cause addiction, that it was okay to use it, so we will prescribe it for everything.
Yeah.
And that was wrong. People got addicted, we had all the consequences, but now we know better. So it's time for people to say, okay, stop, and I'm gonna take my time, and I'm gonna do something different for my patients. It's also time for people to understand that it's okay to ask their doctors, how are you gonna treat my pain? Because this is my body, because
True.
you know, it takes so little for you to get engaged if you have that addictive type of, you know, that is also in your genes.
Do you think if we have an addictive personality, that manifests through intake of opioids as well?
That can manifest a lot quicker than somebody who
Got
doesn't.
it. Okay.
So basically, it is important for us to ask, and you go and, for example, you have a surgery done of a knee replacement. So
Sure.
the regular thing is that they prescribe 30 pills of hydrocodone with 2 refills. Why? What do you do with all that? How? I mean, so it doesn't take all that.
Well, I know we're almost.
I
know.
agree that the first few days it's okay, but there are certain surgeries. There are certain surgeries in oral surgery that you require to give narcotics. Let's say facial trauma, because we do facial trauma on those patients, or TM joint. Not even for TM joint, but for wisdom teeth extractions, for implants, for all of those, you don't need to give that at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Did I answer?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We can talk forever.
We really are out of time for you, Doctor. But we appreciate you coming on here. We appreciate you giving everybody
Well,
an
thank you for
option.
having me.
Yeah,
Thank
and we're
you
gonna
very
we're gonna
much.
we're gonna keep talking about this, a little bit of a heavier subject
Yes.
than we cover sometimes on the show. But before we go, was there anything we failed to get to that you wanted to talk about?
Yes, to close and to is I received an advice about a couple of years ago to create a nonprofit to fight the epidemic against opioids in here. I started doing the search, and really in Texas, we don't have a nonprofit against opioids or to help people with addiction of opioids, neither in Wichita Falls. So I started that process right before the pandemic, and finally we are a nonprofit. That's my baby. I feel very proud of that. And we already have our board of directors. We are gonna start having our first meeting is gonna be next month. And we will give some more information about things.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what
wonderful.
Yvonne's coming on to talk about, right? The nonprofit?
Yes.
All right. Well, we are going to keep it rolling. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back with Yvonne, and we will be right back with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric, very much. Thank you for having me.
For implants or wisdom teeth extraction, choose the best. Choose Dr. Vergara at the Oral Surgery and Dental Implant Center.
Dr. Vergara removed some of my teeth to help prepare my mouth for braces. I didn't hurt at all, not even when I woke up, and I didn't even have to take any medications. I would tell my friends that there's nothing to worry about at Dr. Vergara's office. I had a great experience.
For implants or wisdom teeth extraction, choose the best. Choose Dr. Vergara at the Oral Surgery and Dental Implant Center. Call to schedule a consultation today.
Tickling the ivories. Where are you going to be at?
OG Sales at the Hold on Friday and OG in Sunset on Saturday.
Eric Crossan, Jackie Hager, Andrew Bell, Anthony Ailey over there, and now Hall of Famer Ivonne Wineinger. Thanks for joining us, Yvonne.
Thank you for having me. Love being here.
I mean, how did we get two Colombians?
One day. It's your lucky day.
Same last name.
Right.
Maiden name. Yvonne, for those of you, and real quick, once again, I want to do this again. I'm not going to try to hide anything. This is the second time we've started this segment. We asked you to talk some smack to Jana Schmader.
Jana Schmader, I'm working on number 5. I'm coming for you. We'll see who can keep up.
That's your title. All right, Yvonne, usually you're here to talk about the Burn Shop as co-owner and marketer and all that stuff, and you've got a new venture going on working with Dr. Sandra Vergara over there. Tell us a little bit about what's going on.
That is correct. So Dr. Sandra Vergara is a dear friend of mine. We go way back to our friendship when I moved here to Wichita Falls about 14 years ago. And her passion about opioid addiction is contagious. So when she asked me for help to come along to help her get this nonprofit off the ground, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. So I started doing some research. At that point, she had already done the majority of the work. And so I came in more as a, let's just get it off the ground. So I started working on getting a board together. And finally, we have our first meeting coming up next month.
That's awesome.
And we are ready to rock and roll. We are ready to just create awareness about the crisis that our country and this city is facing currently.
So will this nonprofit actually have like a physical location, or is it, how does that?
The headquarters for Action Against Opioids is Dr. Sandra Vergara's office.
Okay.
Got
That's
it.
where we will be operating
Okay.
for now until we continue to grow and, baby steps. Right now, we're just creating a hub, creating a network of resources that we can actually put out there for the people that need the help.
So the name of the nonprofit is Action Against Opioids?
Yes, ma'am. Action Against Opioids
That is
was
awesome.
an initiative that started by Dr. Sandra Vergara 5 years ago. Started with walks, awareness walks, and talks. And here 2 years ago, she started the process to become a nonprofit. And here recently, like 2 weeks ago, it became a 501c3.
Good.
So we're officially a nonprofit, and we have certificates, and we're ready to roll.
Well, my favorite thing that she said before you was not every surgery needs opioids. There is a place for opioids and not a place for opioids. So tell me what the mission of the nonprofit will do. Can you dive a little bit more into that?
Absolutely, yeah. Action Against Opioids Mission is to raise and promote awareness for the abuse of opioids and addiction. So what we're trying to do is bring the crisis to the light in our community. It's a topic that is not very talked about. People don't like to admit. There is a lot of shame and guilt under it.
Sure.
And that creates a barrier for people to find the right resources and find the help that they need. So our idea as a board and as an organization is to come out and tell people we got the resources for you. Whether you're a doctor, whether you're a parent, whether you're a teenager, whether you are a parent that lost somebody due to this crisis, we want to help you. So right now, what we're doing is creating the networks that we need to launch and be successful.
Sometimes do you just want to go back to Big Pharma and go, why do you even create this?
Yes.
I think
Greed, money.
Oh, I know it's greed and
Yeah.
money, but this is also human lives you're affecting.
And it boils down to education. People
Okay.
don't know. They don't know the facts. They don't know how big it is. I don't think we can put a number on it because it's daily. The numbers go up daily. And recently, from 2019 to 2020, the increase on overdose, with opioids was 30% increase. So we are definitely seeing the numbers go up, and it's scary because at the same time, educating people is a very, very heavy task.
That's a
Very task.
gutsy move for Dr. Vergara and this nonprofit that you are leading to take this stand. That's pretty gutsy.
It is.
So I admire that because a lot of physicians may say, that's just not a lane I want to get into.
Exactly.
But that's a gutsy move and a proud move. And I would think as parents, friends, you kind of need to know what prescription is coming home with you and what the results could be from that.
Right. And the reason we cannot put a number to it is because a lot of these overdoses are not going to the hospital. They are not being tracked. People are dying at home. So the numbers are not real. So I really admire Dr. Sandra Vergara for taking this initiative. And after doing the research that I've done, I became passionate myself. So I'm all on board, and we're here to definitely create a movement. And I think we're onto something really good.
I do too.
Yvonne, how does someone who's listening that this has already affected them, or maybe they have a surgery coming up, knee replacement, hip replacement, how does someone find out more about this nonprofit?
Okay, so as a organization that is just now crawling, we're just having come out. We have our Facebook page. It's called Action Against Opioids. We're also on Instagram, the same name, Action Against Opioids. And you'll find information about our mission, about our purpose. And you can always call Dr. Sandra Vergara's office and get informed.
And I'm assured that that's a private call, so, for those
Absolutely.
people who
All
might
those are- yes,
want the
ma'am.
privacy issue around it.
I do have to say that I'm very proud of the board of directors that Dr. Sandra Vergara and I put together. Amazing group of people. We really went for the people that face this crisis on a daily basis. Rehab centers, counselors, police officers, a parent that lost a child to this.
Wow.
So it's a group of people that really can dive into it with us and help us really develop the resources that we need to help our community.
Yes.
Well, and I think with our audience, Jackie, as you always like to call them 50 to Jesus,
Yeah.
sometimes, as people get older, boy, oh boy, do you get hurt easier. I can attest to that. God, you can't do anything
You
anymore.
especially.
Me especially. Playing virtual golf. I couldn't use my arm for a week. Virtual. So as you might have surgery and you're older and you might not have ever thought about this before, and this can affect you just like it could anybody else. You might have never had a surgery your whole life and you're 80 and now you've got to have hip surgery. This could affect you too.
Yeah.
Or oral, oral surgery, something
Yeah.
like that. You need to think about that.
And something that I would like to share as well is that most people don't know that they have a choice. So you think that you go to the doctor and you're supposed to take that prescription and that's it.
Yeah.
You can ask. You can ask questions. You can ask for something else. You can educate yourself. As a parent, you have the responsibility of telling the doctor, I don't want my kid to take this medication.
That's a good point. And I would think most people, I truly feel that no one wants to get addicted to anything.
Absolutely not.
No one wants to walk that path. And sometimes it happens before your very eyes and you don't realize it. So this nonprofit is a place to go that not only to get information, but say, I'm going to raise the white flag and say help,
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, it comes with a lot of shame and guilt. So
Sure.
our I want to say purpose is to bring the problem to the light for people to feel comfortable coming to us and say, this is where I stand.
Yeah.
Where do I go?
We do a lot of fun shows, but it is good
Yeah.
to do shows like
Sure
this
is.
as
Yeah,
well. This has
sure
been a
is.
great,
Yeah.
informative
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And I want to quote Dr. Sandra Vergara on something that she said recently at a meeting. We are here to help the community on whatever it needs help with. Because at
Okay.
this point, we're learning ourselves as well.
Yeah.
So we're going with the flow. So we're trying to, what is the need? That's what we want to address.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share one statistic that I read recently. Over 1,000 Texans died from opioid overdose from 2019 to 2020.
Wow.
More than the year before.
man.
I mean, that tells you something.
Yeah.
So we're definitely here to create that to get that label in people's head that it is a problem that is not talked about.
Glad y'all are doing this, and glad it sounds like we're getting something going here just in the nick of time, especially with the top 10 statistics and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So,
And the
so glad y'all
pandemic
are-
didn't help things at all. The pandemic just definitely took those statistics to a sore and sad. But pandemic or not, is an issue and it needs addressing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad you guys are doing it. It's a really good thing you guys are doing for the community. We are out of time. Glad we got to talk about this. Glad
Yes,
we get you
yes.
on, Yvonne.
Thank you.
And so once again, thank you to Dr. Sandra Vergara
Yes.
over there and Ivonne Wineinger, Hall of Famer.
Thank
Yes.
you for having
And,
us.
and,
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Yvonne, for being here. Andrew, Jackie, we got Carson back there, and Anthony Ely over here, and we will see y'all next week.
Summer always seems like it'll last forever. Until it doesn't. Yeah, I guess it's that time of year again. Don't be caught off guard. Get ahead of the problem. Let James Lane make sure your unit's ready for 90 one day and 30 the next. Be ready for anything and everything with James Lane Air Conditioning and Plumbing. When you need us, we're there.
4 incredible radio stations. That's who we are. We are Town Square Media, and we bring the best of radio to the North Texas area. Wake up early with News Talk 1290. That's us. How about Kelly Raspberry on 92.9 NIN? Yep, that's us. Bringing you the best of country with 102.3 The Bull. That's us. And rocking it all day long with 106.3 The Buzz. That's us. We are Town Square Media, and we're proud to be a sponsor